Just a half of one.
Well, they're not that big.
What's your favorite kind of tea?
This is all special discount from the Acme yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I found they have a little alcove way in the back of the store that goes to the, I don't know where it goes to the bathroom or something. But I know, I walked there, I just walked when they had time to look at these day-old sales.
Really?
Yeah, things about half price, third price. And so,
Do they make it
no,
fresh?
that's special. That's not that.
It's really good. Greg Kadig, you drink tea mostly.
The what?
You drink tea mostly.
Tea. Then the
Tea, not coffee. Right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite tea?
This the interview here?
I mean, no, we're just talking.
That on now.
It's all going to be about tea. It is recorded.
My favorite tea?
Your favorite tea? You have a classic?
Well, I don't know. There's a problem.
Decaf. We have to have decaf.
Decaf, but we get the store from the shop, right? But it's black. How can I say it? Black tea and something.
Orange pico.
Oh, that sounds good. Do you have a favorite?
Any kind. Green tea, they are supposed to be
Orange
but
pico.
Yeah.
I don't like the taste of black tea.
It
I
tastes
like
good.
it tastes like too much.
But the reason I'm stumbling around with the answer is because I have bad kidneys in addition to all the rest of the problems I have. And potassium's high and all that. So I saw in this list I had that black tea is not good.
For kidneys?
Well, that's not good for potassium or something. You know, one of the
Really?
things that they recommend not use. So I'm thinking about changing, but I don't know what to change to.
Is caffeine bad for you too? Is that why you guys don't drink caffeine?
We don't use caffeine. I have no problem getting some sleep or anything.
Huh. That's good. How's it look?
Great.
Well, thanks guys so much for.
All right, what do you want to know?
I wanted to say thank you for hanging out with us and answering questions. I really liked your memoirs.
She got one too.
You have one too?
Not
It's big.
not
What
like
she wrote
that.
one.
You didn't write one, or you did?
It in 15 minutes.
Really?
Mhm.
I was gonna ask about that. I was gonna ask if you ever thought about writing your memoirs, because he's got one, and I know you've got.
think, Gary, I just wrote down, because we lived in a lot of different places, so I thought I better write all this down before I forget it myself where I lived.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I did do that. And Gary was here one summer and he read it, and I think he said he made copies of it.
Who Gary did?
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up my questions. I wrote down a bunch of questions. If I ask a question and you think of something else you want to talk about, like you just want to go on a tangent, that's great. And you should
do that.
you should do that because they're just like conversation
Well, let
starters.
me talk about all the weeds in my yard.
So I kind of wanted to talk about the memoir first. I wanted to ask like why you decided to write it in the first place, because not everybody writes
Well, I
memoirs.
figure I'm going to die soon. No, I have nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm retired. And I did a lot of genealogy work, and I got tired of that. I went some genealogy stuff, a whole ton of genealogy stuff. And I figured something to do, so I went back and we had all these pictures from our trips and all. We have more, but I tried to pick some out that were reasonable, put them in.
You did Ancestry.com for the genealogy, is that right? How did you track the family?
Well, early on, I got something, but not that. I got that, but now I charge, so I don't do it. It was free for a while. You could find names and all. Went to the Woodbury, little history, the library there has stuff, goes back. And then I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia which were a lot of my relatives. I didn't realize. I thought I had one relative to my mother's family. I had about 7 in Philadelphia.
Wow.
I mean,
In Baltimore.
well, not both, but they came from Baltimore. They went to Baltimore in a ship, and they came up to most of them to Philadelphia area. And that's just on my mother's side. My father's side's pretty hard because it's Ukrainian, and there's records. Who's going? I'm not going to go there. In Germany, all that, and then I went to a place in Philadelphia, the public library on 30th Street or something like that. And I'd go in there and dig up all these people's names and follow them and stuff. And you get leads, you go in the lead, and eventually we got. Now, you don't live in Silver Spring, do you? Well, we eventually found one of the girls. Actually, one was in Pennsylvania, but I guess her sister or aunt lived in Silver Spring. So we went down and visited on the way to Washington. Was there at Silver Spring?
My roommate used to live in Silver Spring.
And got something out of that. And
She
I
came
still
here
have-
once too. That one from Silver Spring came here for a weekend.
and they came here for a weekend. You know, it was nice because these are relatives, and we never knew we had them.
Wow.
And they were nice.
Was it
Very
awkward?
interesting story, man. You should go back and get this thing. I can give you tons of this stuff on these people. And it's because I never knew anything about any of these people. I think I only had a mother and a father and a brother, 2 brothers,
Wow.
and a grandfather lived in, a Russian grandfather lived in Camden, Jeddah. And his wife died almost when I was a little kid. She had tuberculosis, so I never knew her.
Wow.
And it was sort of kept. I'm going, and I went to New York one time, to the library up in New York with a friend. Dug up some more stuff. It was very, very interesting. So we keep digging back in, and keep going back in, keep going back in.
Was it awkward meeting family members you never knew you had, or did it feel really natural?
They what?
Was it awkward to meet family members that you never knew you had, or did it feel more natural because
They were
you?
all dead.
No, I mean, we went to.
When you went to
visit
Silver
the-
Spring
Yes,
and
the new one's not that very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, mine in Silver Spring was.
I got to tell them while we're there, you know, that's sort of strange. There's strange people call them up and say, "Hey, I'm your relative," and say we were going through Washington one day, so let's stop in there.
Yeah.
So what else?
I wanted to know how long it took to write your memoirs.
Oh, to write them?
Yeah.
Not wrong. The genealogy part, which isn't in there, is a lot more. That take me what? A couple of weeks to do that, something like that.
Wow.
Off and on, did it.
You know, I had fun. I had to learn how to turn pictures of my pictures and put them in there. That thing.
Did you just have like a rhythm? Did you write every day for a certain amount of time, or did you just write until you got bored or tired?
I just do what I'm pleased to do.
And did you use you studied the genealogy, did you, because I know you talk about like where your father came from and where his father came from, did that help inform the kind of the ancestry part of the memoirs?
Well, yeah, because you know my mother was her parents were Swiss German, and she was going to school in Philadelphia, you know, girls at Lankenau School for Girls, and it was neat because I sort of found out, but also we had pictures of her and her best friend. Her whole class is about a dozen girls in this class, you know, with a nun or something there. But her friend became my godmother. Pennell, that's my middle name.
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Pennell. It was a good to have them because they were nice people. He was out in Mainline, Wynwood, Philadelphia. They lived. And I mean, what do you got to say, Betty? Anything?
Well, we're talking about you now.
We've got questions for Grandma Betty too, so don't you worry. That makes sense. I wasn't sure if you already knew all of your immediate kind of ancestors, or if studying the genealogies helped fill that out for you before you wrote these. Did it change the way you saw yourself in terms of like where you came from and where your ancestors had been?
Not too much. It did really, but I figure actually every year we used to go to visit. You met Gary, haven't you? Mm-hmm. And Karen, and their little girls. Well, they got married in Germany. Came over here and lived here 5 years, and she had 3 kids in the process, but she was very homesick because she didn't speak English that well at all. But so they zipped back to Germany, and that's where they've been in the last from then on. But we visit them every year, so we used to visit them every year. Somehow we have a trip. I go to a business trip, and we then we go from there. We go to a weekend up to see them on a train or something, and in Europe. So it was nice.
Yeah.
But one time Gary took us down to find some of these people down in Germany that we had names of. And we went pictures of it. Went to the church, church where they were baptized and stuff in these little towns, German towns, and one we couldn't find because you should have married him though. I don't know, but the one we couldn't find was the relatives of my grandmother's grandmother. I mean, and she was Jewish. and the records of her are gone.
Really?
We were down in where they lived, and she lived in Germany and all that. There were no records left. I guess the Nazis took them and burned them up and I don't know what. But I'd love to show you my little genealogy book. I mean, if you ever want it, and if my other family doesn't want it when I die, you're welcome to. I mean, it really goes back, and all the people, especially in Philadelphia and all, are just unbelievable who there. One time, one guy was a head baker towards the Hard Rock Bakery in Philadelphia. Never knew it. I would have gone there. So what now?
I just wanted to say.
No tea, we're having tea.
Huh?
We're gonna have tea, aren't we?
Oh,
Why
having
don't
tea?
I get it?
I'm not.
Okay.
He's my servant.
Crickets.
All right, what?
Let me think. Did you enjoy writing it, or was it just something you wanted to get out of the way?
No, I liked it, yeah.
Have you thought about writing anything else?
Well, that thing's about 2 or 3 years old. I was going to write an addendum to see what's happened since then.
Right.
But, it's in the pattern, I had to tear the thing apart and get it all redone again. So that, I'm just sick of it.
Kind of remastered.
Kathleen, here's a bunch of tea bags.
Okay. Do you want any
One
tea,
thing.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll have some tea. Thanks.
You gonna have tea?
I'll have some tea.
green tea.
I'll have some tea.
Oh, good.
I don't drink coffee. I've sworn off
good.
coffee.
That's good.
It makes my stomach hurt.
I never did till I met Betty.
Really?
Do you want black tea?
If it's there, yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
Okay.
It's bad for my kidneys,
Do black tea.
I
then.
think.
What is it?
Good.
Black tea.
Do you want any tea?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's orange pekoe and black tea.
Oh, that sounds good.
Where are the mugs?
So I had 2 boxes. I bought the black tea.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought we use it. We don't.
So Betty was a tea drinker when you met her?
Betty was the head nurse at Spencer Bay Hospital.
Yeah.
At neurology.
Yeah.
Down there. And when I would go up and visit her in her apartment. All we had coffee. She'd have coffee and things.
Yeah. So she got you started on. You used to
I
drink
think so,
tea,
yeah.
but then you drank coffee with her.
I was a very pure athlete before that.
Which was wrestling mostly, right?
Football, wrestling.
Football.
both, yeah.
Right.
I
I was
got
just
some
looking at-
what's these trophies.
Yeah.
I got one of the best athlete of honor sports in University of Pennsylvania
It's amazing.
in my year.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's this picture of the athletes, yeah.
Ferocious wrestler. It's awesome. And you did really well. You went to high level competitions
Wrestling,
for wrestling, and you were
I was good,
yeah.
but not the best. I pinned the best guy in my class in East.
I think you wrote about that, right? Thank
That was
you.
really a shocker to me because he was. But what I did when I went out there wrestling, first I played 150 football. Penn and some of the elite schools have a lightweight football team. They're good,
Do you mind
but
if I
like
close the
high school
blinds?
teams were
It'll be
faster.
good for the light.
Okay, wait,
And
all the way
the
down?
fall I
Yeah, I
did for
can
that,
don't worry about it.
I need about 165, so I
Don't
could
we
lose
carry that over to
10
the table?
pounds to
I
get to
can
that.
put it on my cooler.
And then wrestling came up. My freshman year, of course, I couldn't wrestle varsity because your best freshman don't get it. And my sophomore year, I beat the guy who eventually became captain of the team at his weight, 145.
Okay.
Which I came down to make 145 from 155. And the next day, the coach asked me if I would go down lower. Because the best guy in his team I beat. So I did. That killed me. I spent, 3 years of misery in wrestling. I didn't eat. I had nothing to eat. We had a free trading table. I'd have a little vitamin pill and a half a grapefruit. That'd be my meal. And I wouldn't drink water because all that stuff we couldn't because all that stuff's sweet.
Wow.
So I was really a walking, very. And I got to my senior year, I started out real fast, did real well, and I think I won the first 5 matches. I beat the captain of PMC. I pinned this guy from Lehigh who was a big Eastern champion. But as the year went by, I really started fading. My losing my reflexes were good, I was good and all. But I got a trophy in wrestling.
I had a friend in high school who was in wrestling and loved it, but it's such to manage your weight so particularly.
Yeah, that's the trouble. I would have been good. And the other thing is, I wrestled about 1 year in high school, and our coach just during World War II, and our coach left. Of course, so we had no coach, so we closed the program down. So I didn't have any more training. So I really, and we came to Penn, and the great coach that had at Penn had just moved to Franklin and Marshall. Or was it Lehigh? Franklin, Marshall, or Lehigh, one of those places. Which had very good teams. And I didn't get any more training. In other words, we had no coach.
You have to fight.
I was back at second year high school, and that's how to pick up stuff as you went along and learn. I did better. I did better, much better. I probably won 2 out of 3 matches.
That's great.
Or a little better maybe.
Wow.
And what else about our?
I wanted to ask Betty, just like, I don't even know if I know where you grew up. Where did you grow up?
Well, different places.
Really?
Yeah, you can read this.
Here it is, baby.
Yeah.
You didn't
My
give me
dad-
a tea or coffee or anything, did you?
Wow.
I got it now.
Yours or mine?
You don't like coffee?
I did. I was going to get it.
Oh,
Is this yours or mine?
you can have it.
No, I'll get one.
Can you tell us where you grew up?
Yeah. Well, I was born in a little town in southern Indiana, in Princeton, Indiana. And then we lived there till, oh God, Ben, I forget. It's all in this book here. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Wow.
Reading. And we moved when my dad joined the J.C. Penney Company. And they had a training program, manager training thing. So we moved to Findlay, Ohio, and we lived there about 5 years. Then we moved to Canton, Ohio. Then we moved to Toledo, Ohio, and then Williamsport, Pennsylvania. But it's all in there.
Is this, when did you write this?
Oh, about 5 years ago, I guess.
And are these your memoirs?
Well, I don't know if you call them memoirs. It just tells about where we lived and everything, and impressions of places along the way.
Wow. These are kind of the travels that you were talking about.
I didn't.
Not that.
Not
that.
Nothing about our travels. He wrote about that, so that covered.
Right. So you traveled a lot was it for the business for J.C. Penney or was
Yeah,
it?
he was transferred.
Okay.
First he was in a training program, and then he finally was a manager, and then after that he traveled
Yeah, I met her.
to different
I met
places.
Betty. Well, I met her, but first time I went to her home was in Bloomsburg. You know where Bloomsburg is?
Yeah, sure he was.
And she and her family lived there. They'd been in Williamsport and to Bloomsburg, and that's where I met her. That's her family there.
Yeah.
But the strange thing about, what was I going to say? Oh dear.
Strange.
Oh, where my family came from turns out to be the same place where Gary's wife lived, which strikes me as very ironic because of all the places. He only went to Germany because he was a junior. They had a program for junior year in Munich, and from Munich he met Karen, who was from this place where my grandparents all lived. So that was sort of,
Yeah.
and we went there. And Gary looked in the phone books when they lived in Bad Oeynhausen to see if he could find any Stolbergs, because that was my grandmother's name.
Okay.
And he found a man that lived very near them, and
Wow.
so we went to visit one time, and they said, "Oh, come over for lunch." So I walk in the door, and they said, "Oh, you look like one of us."
So he just looked them up in the phone book and just like went to the
Yeah,
address
he went
and
to a lot of different Stolbergs, so there's a lot
Wow.
of them over there. But finally found one. The guy said, "Oh yes, that must be my grandfather."
wow.
And my grandfather came to America with his brother, and he stayed, but his brother went back to Germany. He didn't like America,
Yeah.
and that's the one we visited, his descendants, when we were over there. So that was sort of interesting.
That was during your yearly visit to Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. I can't believe like we don't think today in terms of phone books. And so it's just not we Google people
I
and that's
know.
pretty much it. And to think of like looking through a phone book and just like calling them or visiting their
That's
house,
an entirely different way of
Yeah.
living, yeah.
of locating people.
Yeah. People say it all the time when I'd say something. They say, "Oh, we don't do that anymore."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe it.
Actually, I wanted to ask you guys if, let's see what I wrote here. I wanted to know, I was wondering if you guys thought, if you think anything has improved since you were kids, and what you think might have gotten worse since you were kids. Does that make sense?
Everything's improved. What do you mean, the nation? Or?
I mean, like anything that you can remember from your childhood that like was better back then or worse back then. What do you think has improved? What do you think has gotten worse? Either
better
in,
back then.
in like your life, in your lives, or in the country,
Well,
or in the world.
I enjoy my childhood. I just thinking the other day how we were kids. You know, I'd drive around. Had that thing. I'd ride around on a little bicycle, bare feet at home. We had a pony. You know, and we'd ride the pony and a carriage with it and things. My father came to the hospital when I was born to see my mother in a pony carriage. And
Wow.
With my older brother Paul. I don't know where he parked it, but no, I think, except for my wife Betty and our family, of course. But I think that everything's too hurry up right now. I mean, everything's so fast and paced. You know, I mean, you go on the road and drive, and people are trying to get the fastest they can get. The ones that can be there. You?
Not me.
Hey.
Driving up here, everyone's driving real fast, and Kathleen is a very safe driver, and she drove us up here, and it's just you see people whizzing by, and you can't help
Yeah,
it
but they
just.
can whiz by and
Me
cut in
too.
front of you and
I
stuff.
don't like
Right.
to pass.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I mean,
People drive. It's like the autobahn out there. Every highway.
Yeah, that's right.
So-
And they wish they should be in the Autobahn.
Yeah.
We were when we first time went to Germany. Well, I guess Gary had picked us up at the airport. It was snowing in April.
hey, Brian.
Hi,
Brian Gotchel, 41763. Are you doing genealogy
We're
today?
doing like a little mini
Okay.
documentary, sort of just
Okay.
asking questions. No, you want
That's
to
all right.
poke your head
No,
in?
I'm not getting
Come on, poke your head in.
Brian,
Uncle Brian.
Come in, Sam.
You're
Get in
part of
the
the
middle here. You
story.
can talk for
There
a
we go.
while.
Hey.
I didn't know it was on.
Yeah, we're just talking about
Questions.
stuff.
asking all these.
I shaved.
We're just talking about stuff that's gotten better and stuff that's gotten worse since they were kids.
Yeah.
Just like stuff that's changed for better or for worse. What do you think?
That's way too deep.
It's
for
pretty
me.
deep. We're diving right in.
Let me think about it.
It's good to see you.
Well, I know. I often think when I, especially that thing that automatically closes your automobile when you get out. Well, Mom and Dad would think about that because they would just be amazed at.
Oh, the
you
channel
do that
changer,
stuff,
instead of going up there and turning the channel on the
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, remote controls.
Remote controls.
When we first had TV, we didn't have remote.
Stop, all I remember is stop flicking the channels. Stop flicking the
I
channels.
know.
3, 6, and 10, that's all we had. 12, 17, 29, and 48.
How many
Oh, that's
channels
right,
is
Brian. I
that?
can-
5?
We had 3, 6, 10, 12 public television.
Yeah.
And there's 17, 29, and 48, which are out of Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
7, right? That was it.
The kids grew up with before we had remote. They just.
You just flick the channel. You
Yeah.
get up.
Yeah.
But so you didn't. I guess that maybe that has something to do with why you don't watch. I flick channel. I mean, I just go right through now, channel surf. Back then, you leave something on for
Yeah.
10, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then turn the channel.
Do you guys have to mess with the bunny ears on? Did you get bunny ears on the television?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that you guys could sit a little closer together?
Oh, I think you scooted out a little bit too far, Grandpa Dick.
Okay,
'Cause
room for-
I think I have to work. I got work to do.
Oh.
All right.
How long are you guys sticking around for?
just for the morning, we're just gonna talk and hang out and ask some questions and make them
The
famous.
visitors from below the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
The Virginia Gotchels.
You're on TV.
Yeah.
I think I got work to do.
Have a good day at work.
I'll stop back before you guys leave.
All right.
Please do.
Okay.
Any other thoughts from your childhood or from the past?
Oh gosh. Whether things were better or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you went ice skating up there in Pennsylvania, the pond by
Oh yeah,
Williamsport.
that's all in that red book
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But you gotta put it on the thing here, Betty.
If you feel like talking about it, it's always nice to hear it
Yeah.
straight from your mouth just because
Yeah.
it's much more personable. It's good
Yeah.
that way.
I remember when we were in the Air Force. We were in the Air Force down in Washington D.C. on Bowling Air Force Base, which is right out southeast Washington. And we had a little apartment on the 3rd floor, a nice development, which then it's horrible now. We've gone back, and we had TV about this big. And we had in the living room we had this pull-out bed. And we'd pull it out and lay there and watch the TV about that far.
it was so small.
That's how, I mean, things have changed so much.
What kind of television did you guys watch? What kind of programming was on?
Oh, I remember I grew up with Mickey Mouse Club.
Sports,
One of the kids
sports.
were- You watched that too? They didn't have
When
that
I was
anymore.
little, I did,
Mickey
yeah.
Mouse Club.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I Love Lucy was a big one.
Mhm.
We always watched that.
We have a lot of tapes on, I bought them, on All in the Family. Did you ever watch that?
All the families?
All in the Family. The
You are, see? It
Norman
was
Lear
the
production,
comedy
was a
show.
classic.
I can give you the things you can take home.
Really?
Can just put it
We don't have a VCR if that's what it is.
Oh,
Is it
You can get
VCR?
All in the Family. We could
We
do
could
that
find it on.
places
We
to
could
watch
find
it.
it somewhere else.
I bought a bunch of them. I haven't used them, but I'm planning to go back this winter and start looking at them again.
Yeah.
You could have them mail them back to me or something, or drive back, bring them back.
I have a question for, well, start with you maybe.
Okay.
You know, there are a lot of, I guess you guys grew up in like a really interesting time where there's a lot that has gone on from, you know, things that have happened sooner, more recently like 9/11 to
Yes.
things like the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And are there like any in those within, or like, you know, the assassination of JFK, any like stories or memories you have from those times that either like taught you something or just, you know, where you
From the
guys
Great
were?
Depression days.
Any time of, you know, something that really big
Yeah,
that was happening.
I remember I was a kid during the Great Depression.
Did I have my book
I
about
didn't
getting wolf
really-
falling out of the car and Paul?
I just,
I'm not sure.
I know,
think
I
so.
never really realized we were poor. I mean, we didn't have much, I know that, but my dad always had a job, so we were not the desperate people like some were in the Great Depression. I never even knew that there was a depression. I just remember my mother saying one time that, oh, people are don't
I
tell us,
did.
and
We
people-
did. In
People
our
are
family.
taking to selling apples on the street. I just remember her saying that. And then I remember we lived in Ohio then, and there were people would come and knock on the back door, and maybe they'd be unemployed or hobos, I guess they called them, and they'd ask for something to eat. And my mother would always fix a plate for them.
Oh.
But then she would, after they left, she would always boil their eating utensils, make sure that
Yeah.
they weren't, you know. So I remember that.
What did your dad do for a living? Like
He
what-
was a manager of J.C. Penney.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And thank goodness he always had a job. And my mother was a school teacher, but she never worked after she got married. Yeah.
Who did she teach? What grades?
She teached a group, small group. It was a very small town, 500 people.
Wow.
So she had all different ages in her classes. She was only 18. She was during the First World
Was
War.
that Elberfeld or was that?
Elberfeld, yeah, very small town. And she said she loved teaching. The only thing she didn't like was disciplining the kids. And I have a picture of her with her class, and some of the kids looked like they might have been giving her a hard time.
For some reason, I envision like a single room schoolhouse. What
Yeah,
did
that's
she?
what hers was. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. Hmm.
Just rows of desks and
Yeah.
wow, that's nice.
She graduated from high school in town in this small town, and then she went to a teachers' college. They called, I forget what they called them then. They didn't call them teachers' colleges, but she was. I know she said she was teaching when the end of the World War I came. She remembered all the bells were ringing in this, even in this small town where she lived.
Wow. Did she
And
grow up?
my dad was drafted into the First World War, but he always said the Kaiser gave up when they heard he was in the army. That was one to exaggerate.
Wow.
So
Is it the
I
same
knew it.
town that your mom grew up in, that small town of 500, or did she move there to start teaching?
yeah, no, she lived born and raised in this small town, and what was I going to say?
Well, my parents were in his depression. My dad was in depression. He wasn't. He was a mechanic,
Yeah.
and he had actually he never even finished high school. I mean, he was born in Camden. I mean, he was born in. He actually came over. He was born in Russia. He came over about a year old or something. And his father had a store down South Camden, and they used to have to tell me stories about how they'd go to the railroad tracks near there and try and get food and stuff
Wow.
out of the train. You know, they parked cars, you know, the railroad cars, things like that. And he went back to school and got a little training as he got older. And in fact, he had to go through a course to get citizenship too, and get that kind of thing. But we never had a lot of money. We were always pretty well. But they gave us what they had. I mean, I don't know if I had in that book or not, but we had the only pony in town. We had the best bicycles in town for Christmas, you know, and things like that. But they couldn't afford much else. They even lost me once. We had a little Chevy car. We're going up the highway, going up toward Camden, and we stopped at the red light. And I don't know what happened because I was too young, but they got another mile away and they noticed I wasn't in the car anymore. I was about a 1 or 2 year old. And either my brother pushed me out. I never did. And they come driving back, and I'm standing back there.
They didn't have child
We
locks.
had some good times.
That's one way to put it.
And they did a lot. We had tree bunks. We had a slide up the tree. He made it for us. We'd zing down, like hang on a slide.
Yeah.
Did a
You
lot
guys had all this
there's a lot
stuff.
of stuff that you didn't have to pay much for, but you know, were worthwhile.
You guys, I think, when we were kids, we always wanted to watch television. When you guys were kids, like you had some
No.
shows that you watched, but it wasn't really like part of
No.
your childhood. What
No.
was probably more so just other hobbies like going out. And I don't know, what did you? I know you've done a lot of art.
We had
but-
clubs, the kids in the neighborhood, wherever we lived, we always had friends. And we'd have different clubs and stuff, and we'd meet on a certain day, and we always had refreshments. And I remember we always had bologna sandwiches and Jello.
Bologna sandwiches and Jello.
And we used to spend a lot of time talking at night. We'd sit in the front porch and sit in the swing.
It was
and
very
talk- and
different.
just talk to each
Very
other.
different.
And now I think not people aren't as inclined to do that. They're all glued to the TV set,
Hmm.
and not much interaction as far as that goes.
Wow.
That's why I always, when we built this house, I said I want a front porch.
And you guys, that's always, I remember you guys sitting out of the front porch when the Gotchel family pulls in for holidays and stuff. You guys are always out there waving us in, which is nice.
Yeah.
When did you first start? Do you want to change it real quick? If it's all very, we can only like record like a certain length of a video at one time, so we've got to start it over again every so
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
But you've done a lot of art in your life, and you're a very talented artist. And I was wondering, is that something that started when you were a kid, or did that start later in your life?
I always liked to draw. Always. I can't remember when I didn't. I used to. I never really went to art school or anything, but
Yeah, what?
I never went to art school.
Oh, art school.
When I got out of high school, I
I'll
thought
show you a
I
picture
would
of
like to
Ben,
go to art school, but
and you're going
and
to get it
that's
when we
how-
die.
it's not
Oh,
very
yeah.
practical.
Should be-
And some of my friends were nurses, and they had gone. They had a thing called Cadet Nurse Corps then, and if you went and I was in on the last class that they had because they paid your tuition in nursing school, and also gave you $25 a month. So that's what I did.
There wasn't a lot of scholarships being given out those years when they were there, but not like now. I think in my class, I had a scholarship, husband scholarships to Rutgers and Penn and Juniata. But Juniata was a full tuition scholarship. It's out in Pennsylvania, a little small school. I never heard of it. And my homeroom teacher says, Dick, you don't want to go there. She says, it was a girls' school. It was just turning that year into a co-ed.
So wouldn't you want to go there?
No, I was the youngest person in my class, and everything I was always a little did be down. I lived in a place called Colonial Manor, high school was Paulsburg. It was like 7 miles away, which we were bused. But for events, no, I had no way, I had no car. I couldn't do anything. I had friends had to take me, or in fact, I took a senior girl, well, bad experience. That's not in my book, I think it is. A bad experience. I went to this dance with this girl that's cheerleader. I didn't particularly like her that much, and I didn't like dancing that much, so it was all right, I had an evening. But then she lived in Paulsburg, and my friend dropped me off at her house, and I went in the house for a minute, and she said, "You want to stay?" I said, "No, I better go and catch the bus, because there's a bus that come down." I missed the bus. Cold winter night, and I'm standing out in the corner there, freezing. Yeah. And a guy picks me up and one takes me to Woodbury, which is nice. So I'm out there, out filming. And again, this is what I used to do all the time. You used to hitchhike. And the next guy picked me up, took me to Woodbury, and as he come down to Colonial Manor, which is like about 3 miles, he puts his hand on my leg. And I says, "You better stop now and let me out."
That's why we don't hitchhike anymore. Did you ever hitchhike, Grandma Betty?
What is it?
Did you ever hitchhike?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
We always did.
No. I think my parents, I don't ever remember them warning me about that, but I just never did.
No.
I never had occasion to.
It was funny. You
I
people
know
would
that
pick you up.
I think all parents worry about their kids and that, something like that happening. And I remember my father especially, there was a big article in the newspaper about something like that happening. And about a girl that went to the movies and somebody sat down next to her and they took her out or something. And I remember him telling us, "So always be careful."
Wow.
Where you go and who you sit next to and all kind of stuff like that.
Wow. I was also curious how you got started with your art. Did you start with did you have coloring books when you were a kid, or did you just find paper?
No, I just like to draw. I used to like to draw people. I remember my grandpa used to come to visit, and I asked him to sit down. I tried to draw him, and everybody said, "Oh, that's pretty good." So I thought, well, then I liked it. I used to I always took art in high school, and I got to be art editor of our yearbook, and then I went to nursing school, and people found out I could draw, and then I was involved in stuff for the nursing class, and I know I made some artwork for the premature nursery one time, and different stuff. And
She's just going back and trying to do it. She stopped for about 5 years doing any kind of painting. Right now she's going back to do a little.
Well, I
trips on it.
can't paint anymore because I can't handle brushes and all that stuff. So I've just been drawing
can draw a
again.
little bit.
But
That's nice.
I'm not. That's the basis you start out with anyway.
I know you've done a lot of old photos. Are you doing something differently now with drawing? Are you just sketching stuff you see, or?
Well, yeah, I just sit around here. There's not too much to draw in the house. I've drawn it all.
Me.
John
Now I
Kinkadick.
decide I'll draw my hand. I'll draw my hand. So I tried to draw my hand the other day with all the veins and
Wow.
the bumps in it.
Wow.
Before we leave, would you show us some of the sketches you're working on?
What?
Before we leave, will you show us some of the sketches you're working on?
Oh, just recently?
Yeah.
Okay, in there.
Okay.
Do you have any
She'll show you the better stuff she did when she was younger.
It's all way better than I could do.
There's Kyle right back there.
Yeah.
My hands don't work like they used to.
Yeah.
That was Kyle when he was young.
Yeah.
Not a little bit like you.
Looks the same way.
But
Looks just
I
like he
always
does now.
enjoyed, before I had trouble walking and everything, I went to a neighbor that teaches art. And she's really, really very good. She never went to art school either, but she trained with some famous, not famous, but very good artists. And she would give us points on our paintings and stuff. And also it was a very nice group of girls that we enjoyed talking to each other as much as learning how to paint, I think.
You never went to art school, but you
No.
did. Did you have artistic inspiration, like famous painters or paintings?
No, I loved art museums. I think we lived in Toledo, Ohio. They have a famous art museum there. And when I was about, I guess it was about 6 or 8 years old, and I just fell in love with art museums. I still like to go to them. Just I can spend the whole day just wandering around, looking at paintings.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
Philadelphia was good that way. I used to go to the art museum on my day off. And just,
Yeah, we used to go there a lot. She was a member there for you, has
And
been
then-
for years.
Really?
And years.
yeah. And then
Not
when
anymore go now because it's too much hustle to try and get in and out of the place that
They did
buggy.
They did
He was
have
tired.
art classes at the art museum too, and I signed up for one time. A guy named Morris Blackburn was the teacher, and he got to be a pretty famous painter. And, but it was a big class. I mean, you didn't get much individual attention. It was only on Saturday mornings for a month or so. But he said, "Oh, you have a feel for paint." That's what he said.
That's interesting.
My painting is all done on walls and stuff.
I was gonna ask. I didn't know you made some portraits before.
He's good at that.
Yeah, you're a handyman. Like, do it yourself. Like, how to do just like general like stuff like around the house.
Oh yeah, he can fix anything.
I know you taught my dad a lot, I
Yeah.
think, and he taught himself a lot too. But
Yeah.
he has a whole tool shop downstairs back in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
He just likes fixing stuff. I figured he got that from you.
yeah.
Just likes keeping
I don't
stuff
know.
running.
Your dad's a pretty smart guy.
I know. Oh man. Everybody, do you have a favorite? Last art question. I just wanted to know if you had a favorite painting or drawing that you've done yourself.
No, I've given a lot of them away, so I can look back and think I kept a record of all the different ones I've sold, but I can't.
Yeah.
We can take you through the art shop and when you're done. You can follow us with the camera. And we'll-
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, that you mean in the laundry room? That's right.
No, here,
Oh.
and there,
No,
and there, all of those rooms. We even got a couple
I have
left
some of
over.
Leah's stuff in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she gave us a painting she did once at the shore, and some little sketches I always
That's
saved
nice.
and put them all together in the living room.
Yeah. Sometimes I see her work and I can't tell if it's hers or yours. You guys, I think she is inspired by your style and your work, which is really cool. I think it's like a
Your mom
genealogy
says
of
she
art.
thinks that you've got a permanent job now, or a full-time
Yeah.
job at this place.
In New York, I think, right?
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
furniture design
Yeah.
company or something.
That
That's
same
really
guy
cool.
that has the chocolate.
Sebastian, I think.
Yes,
I think.
yeah.
The chocolatier.
Yeah, chocolatier. I like that word.
I know. It's like Willy Wonka. I was also curious, Greg, because you wrote a lot. There's a lot of information, and even like the first page, you're turning to the streets of your like home and
Yeah.
beyond. Throughout, you have all these specific memories of things, specific people saying specific things and
Yeah.
going specific places. I can like barely remember what happened last week in my
Yeah.
life, and you have an amazing memory. And I just
Well,
wondered,
You should write it down when you think of it, so you don't forget it.
I should do that.
Yeah,
I
you
should.
do.
I blog a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah.
Have you always had like a really good memory? Was it always easy studying in school, or is this just stuff that you've had written down, or does it all just come to you really easily? All these memories,
Memories.
you
No,
know?
the memories I just, I figured out a story out from small and had some, came along and met my little wifey and the kids and that stuff. And no, it was just my memory stuff. I just,
Wow,
went along.
it's incredible. Was it easy to study in school because you just read a book and remember everything for the test?
Was I studying in school?
Was it easy to study in school because you could remember everything that you studied for tests?
I think he had a certain method.
Well, most of my, in college or
College, high school.
Well, in college, I knew I was a chemistry major, and I didn't really. Most of the kids in school were at little. I come in and filled out their head of me when I got in school. They knew more than I did about chemistry, and so it was with a tussle. And my last year there was called physical chemistry. Now I'd been involved in the fall in football, in the winter in wrestling. And to get down to football, I would have to sneak out of the guy's class, his 2 to 5 class. And I'd try to get down to by 4 o'clock to the gym. So always 5 o'clock. His son's going out 4 o'clock. So along comes, I guess it was my spring semester there. And then same thing, I had to get back to wrestling practice in the afternoons. And this guy wasn't very nice. And he was going to flunk me. You know, here I was. I told him, I already got accepted in medical school. I says, and I've been doing that. Try harder and all this. And he gave me a D. But at least he got me through. That was.
So did he know you were leaving early, or were you not taking tests? Is that why your grades were low?
Did he know?
Did he know that you were leaving early for sports?
Well,
figured it out?
probably, because we have a certain table you'd work at.
Right.
And things. And he would sort of just, if you wouldn't, you watch, I just had to get up and go away, I'd go, But I enjoyed that more than the school. I enjoyed the football and the wrestling and stuff. That was a little more adventurous and stuff.
That's good.
Things.
Wow. And I know you're really interested in the Civil War, like we were just talking about. Is there any reason why the Civil War is a particular interest for you? What makes it such a compelling?
I don't think so. Betty, that's the guy she's talking about. Hereford, who was the one that was a Civil War soldier?
Oh, my great-grandfather was in the Civil War, yeah. Your great-grandfather was too. Your mother said he was a courier or something.
Yeah.
But my great-grandfather
Nothing about that.
was in the Civil War. He was drafted, and he was a prisoner. I think he was a prisoner for a number of years in Richmond. There was a prison there that since burned down. But what was I going to say?
He wasn't much of a soldier. He was more of a prisoner. They let
And
him out, and he'd get captured again. He'd go back in again.
I said to my mother,
He was smart.
Did he ever talk about what it was like in prison? When the Civil War. No, she said he didn't like to talk about it, but he did say that all they had to eat was old green beans. Yeah, he said they
I just like it
practically
because
starved.
it's exciting. I mean, it's something in our history, and it's sort of neat to follow through. And actually, I guess it was in there, but we toured all these places. Yeah, you've been in your places where you live.
Gettysburg, been there.
There's bull runs there, and you got a lot of them because they're all around Washington.
Right.
It's funny, genealogy is funny. He always says he's exactly like his father. But I can see his mother in him too, so I don't think anybody's ever totally one side, because you have two people there and you get stuff from both sides.
Yeah.
Hard to remember sometimes, but you do.
Yeah, I can see my parents and me in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how family affects us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm always interested in siblings, and I used to cut out all kind of articles about sibling rivalry and how you interact with each other, and how years go by and you don't see them, and then I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, my sibling brother was older than me. He would beat the hell out of me.
I noticed that in your memoirs. You guys were always beating each other up.
He's still he's crippled. He's down in Florida now. His wife died, and he hasn't been walking for a couple of years. But he's still has the same attitude. Everything he does is so much better than I do, and that's the way we start our life. It's going the same way. He always ends up, well, the weather's so nice down here.
You should go down and teach him a lesson.
Hey, what?
You should go down there and teach him a lesson.
Too far. We can't go
It's
down.
funny though, since he's down there in Florida, he calls about once a week. He calls just to see if, I guess he calls to see if
See
he's
if I'm
still
alive,
alive.
But he never called. Used before, once a year he'd call, twice a year.
Years ago, the brothers never communicated too much. His wife and I used to talk a lot on the phone. I think girls talk more than boys. Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Generally, I think that's probably true.
yeah.
So did you guys visit him in the past when he moved down to Florida? Did you get down to
No,
Florida very much?
No, we don't
And
travel
this the
anymore.
past year or so, he's going down the past year since his wife died.
Yeah.
And they used to live in Pittman, which is about 8-10 miles away. But I was always so irritated with him that how he could pull deals. He sort of really could work things. He's an engineer, and he's probably pretty good. Because he would get a job. He worked over like an aircraft place over outside of Philadelphia and all.
Bowling.
And he would work, and then in the spring, he'd have them fire him. And then he'd take the whole summer and go down to Seattle City
And go on
on unemployment. September, he'd get rehired, and back he'd go. You know, I used to get so irritated at that because he would do that because I'm working like hell in my summer and I'm not getting any time off, and he's getting all free time. He was all right. He was a good brother. He
You
just
worked
knew
for
how to
Boeing?
work the angles.
Boeing. He worked for Boeing.
He did, yeah. Wasn't it Boeing he worked for?
I was Boeing,
I
yeah.
think so. Helicopters or something?
Yeah,
too?
they build
yeah.
aircraft.
Yeah.
Kathleen's old roommate, works for Boeing.
Mhm.
Oh,
So-
your roommate was
Yeah.
Calvin? Yeah.
Helicopters, yeah. I did a lot on helicopters, I think.
Okay.
So he's like a plane engineer, that sort of thing.
I don't know what he did.
You don't know what he did?
He went over there and got paid a lot of money.
Mechanical engineer, I think.
Oh, my friend, one of my really good friends, is in the Air Force and he works on planes. So he's on base all the time, working on, I think like C-130s that come through. He's always fixing them up and making sure they fly right. And he's just finishing his 6-year contract now and trying to decide what to do next.
Wow.
If he wants to leave the military and do like private contractor work, or to go into the National Guard, or to sign another 6-year contract with the Air Force. But which brings me to being drafted, having to go fight.
Well, that's while we were in Washington. In med school, I was in the ROTC. They pay a little money because I was dead broke and they were giving me money. In fact, at my first year in medical school, I was ready to leave because I had no money. And then the guy gave me a scholarship for the rest of the years, next 3 years. But I still had to work all summer. It was no walk around, no time off. And we in the ROTC, you go once a week, go to lecture. The guy talks about stuff. But then it required you, once you're done, you go into service. So this was in the Korean War, yeah. This is the Korean War. And so by then I was a doctor when I was in med school, and I finished that, and I had an obligation to go to the Air Force. And this after my internship, I interned at a hospital. Then I went as a doctor. I went, and actually it was nice because I worked in a small base hospital with some young sharp guys. One from Johns Hopkins, one from Seattle. Just great guys. I did more surgery and stuff then. A year out of intern, just finished my internship, than I did when I came back and started my residency. Amazing. I mean, these guys are good. And they would walk me through the stuff, and eventually I'd take care of some big cases and stuff. But to get back to after I was 2 years, I had to get back to my residency. I couldn't do much. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't use. I did obstetrics, and I couldn't use forceps. I couldn't use sections because I'm first-year resident, and all I would do is work with the medical students. and somebody delivered real fast, and I would deliver them. Otherwise, no. I mean, went back from being a surgeon to almost nothing. You know, it's put back, but what do you do?
Wow. So did life feel any different during wartime versus peacetime? Were there protests in the streets? Did it feel different? Because it was so far away, but it's still a big part of the culture.
I never saw a protest.
No, we didn't have any. I mean,
No.
and where we were at the Air Force Base, you know, just run a base. I don't know what. It's right. It actually was a Our place was outside Washington, right southeast, and that's where the people would practice, they'd fly, they'd get their hours in, they come in and fly out of there. The guys in the Pentagon would come over and they'd fly to had to have so many hours, you know, a year flying to keep their license.
Andrews Air Force Base, is that
They,
still there, I guess?
they moved, they all moved to Andrews. When I left, about a year later, they all moved to Andrews Air Force Base. So all the guys were there, that I knew.
Your dad was born when we were in the Air Force.
Right, right.
And when he was 10 years old, we decided that would be a good way to celebrate his birthday. We'll go to Washington, D.C. and sightsee with the kids. So when he saw where he was born, it was just like a Quonset hut type of a Air Force building, hospital. And he said, oh, is that where I was born? I guess he was thinking he was born in a big hospital. Yeah,
These were
but
all
we had a
big-
good time. The kids all remember that
Right.
trip. It was
Aw.
fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you have any siblings?
Yeah, a sister and a brother. My sister is 3.5 years older, and she's died when she was 88 years old. She was still
Smashed
drive.
up in a car.
Let me tell it. So she was still driving, but one day she felt especially good, so she was going to went to the grocery store, and she went through a stoplight and crashed into a guardrail next to a creek, and the whole car just catapulted into the creek. Yeah, I know exactly where it happened because we used to live in Williamsport, and
Yeah,
that's where
right there.
it was.
And that's how she passed away.
So that was a terrible, terrible shock.
We think she
used
probably
to-
had a stroke or something.
We used to talk on the telephone Monday night. Every night, Monday night, the phone would ring and it was her. Or I'd call her. We'd take turns. So I really missed seeing her. And then I had a brother who was 8 years younger, and he died. He had polio when he was a child, which didn't really impair his ability to walk or anything. But when he was 73, the symptoms started to come back. I understand that's very common in people that have juvenile polio. Symptoms come back when they're in their 70s. So he died when he was about 78. He had a heart attack. My dad had about 6 different heart attacks. So that
Wow.
heart problem runs in the family, I guess.
What were their names?
My sister's name was Ruth, and my brother's name was Jack.
Jack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before I
And
forget,
I still in pretty close contact with my brother's kids. His daughter came to visit us with her husband about couple of years ago, and I just talked to her on the telephone yesterday. And she had 2 brothers, and one lives out west and one lives near Connie. And then my sister had 2 kids, Carol, who lives in near Harrisburg. Where does Carol live?
Kenningsburg, no,
No, not Harrisburg. She doesn't live in Harrisburg.
near Harrisburg.
Very near Harrisburg. And she's a school teacher. She just retired, so they come to visit frequently.
Are you on Facebook?
oh yeah,
You'll see Carol's always
Get her
does a lot of
name.
stuff on Facebook.
is it Forbes?
She's crazy.
Or Forbes, yeah.
Or
Every
Friends?
day she's got 4 or 5 things on there. Yeah, I can't believe it.
We're friends on
She
Facebook.
used to be a high school librarian.
Oh really?
I
Yeah.
think that's a problem. I think she's.
You think that's a problem?
Well, it is, because I mean, she clutters up the mail. She got all these things, and they're all little dib-dabs about nothing. I mean, I don't know why you put them in there. You know,
What does that have to do with her being a librarian?
Yeah, I don't know. She likes to see print, I think he means. I don't know what he means.
That's so funny. Before I forget, could I have each of you one at a time tell the camera your full name, when you were born, and where? It's just to like set the beginning of the video, but like I'm Benjamin Gotchel. I was born in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania in 1993.
And say your middle name.
Oh yeah, I'm Benjamin Mark Gotchel,
Yeah.
and I was born in. Does that make sense? Is that weird?
I don't know. Go on, Betty. Give away.
Now,
Sure, go right ahead.
just say my full name. And,
Full name, when you were born, and where.
oh, my name's Betty Gotchel. I was born in 1926 in Princeton, Indiana.
Perfect. Thank
That's
you.
it.
Yeah.
I'm Richard Pennell Gotchel. I was born January 5th, 1929 in Woodbury, New Jersey.
Well, I used to
Perfect.
put my middle
Yeah, what's
name,
your
Betty
name?
Lou.
Do you want to try again?
My name is Betty Lou Gotchel. I was
Perfect.
born in Princeton, Indiana in 1926.
Perfect.
Who's your favorite presidents?
Oh, that's a good question.
Who is or
Who?
was?
Was or Obama, if he's your favorite president? I don't know.
I don't know.
I probably think Eisenhower,
That's what I was going to say.
Why is that?
because I think he was the sort of, it was not
Middle of the road. sort of.
pushing it, middle of the road and sort of nice old guy, and, and he won the war for us.
Yeah, good old Ike.
Yeah.
I like Ike.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever get involved a lot in politics, campaigns, and advocacy?
No.
And what?
Advocacy, campaigning.
I
Politics.
got one in the mail, I just put out yesterday, something come in from some group. And apparently they don't like Clinton. I wasn't sure what, but it goes down, it was a thing, and I thought it was some kind of thing, official government thing or something, and write all this and that, but eventually you get down to who you're gonna vote for, and I says Trump. But then then after that, it all tore into Clinton. I mean, about how bad she was, the things she did was bad, this, that, and all. So that's the only thing. I was in the school board for
Really?
six years in high school. I mean, West Effort School Board. That was our only experience, right, with government.
Well, yeah, that really wasn't, I didn't consider that politics. Brian is doing that now.
Oh, I didn't know that. What is he doing?
Well, he's in school board. They get 3-year terms and he liked it 2 times. I don't know if he's gonna do it again or not.
Oh, he's been elected again.
Hmm?
He was elected again, I think.
Yeah, I know, he was.
He's on for another 3 years, I think. I think as long as his kids are in school. The youngest one, Bailey, is still in school.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
I was gonna ask both of you what your first jobs were.
Oh, gosh. You can just Kim I have to think about mine for a minute.
My first job was being a son. My father had jobs all the time for me. And one of his thrilling experiences I can relate is that he was, of course it was during the Depression, and he also repaired outboard motors. He had a little shop, Manor Motor Shop, and had a big bucket-like thing, and he put the motor in, and then he'd pull it then you had to use a hand pull. So if he wanted, after he got it fixed, he says, I had to hold the spark plug to see if it was getting a spark.
Oh!
Yeah. And he goes, yeah, you got spark.
This is back before child labor laws or safety laws.
That was about my first job.
Do you remember yours?
Well, I guess babysitting,
Baby.
when I was old enough to do that, but my dad and mother didn't, my dad especially didn't like it too much. He said, I don't want to be out that late at night, so I was only allowed like in the evening or something, not any nighttime.
Who did you babysit for?
Neighbors, kids. We lived in Williamsport. There was a couple of different people that used to ask me to babysit. But mostly in the beginning, I only babysat if they had like infants that were not when they had 2 or 3 kids running around. I guess they didn't think I was old enough to do that. But and then I worked at Sears and Roebuck, like after school for when I was a senior in high school, and then on Christmas holidays and stuff. And then I worked at where else did I work? Oh, I worked at Eaglesmere. Did you ever hear of Eaglesmere,
what's that?
Pennsylvania? It's up
Resort.
in the mountains, in the middle of Pennsylvania. Your parents probably know where that is.
Sounds nice.
Go there.
It's
A couple nice hotels there. You could
Well,
take the wife and have a good time.
it was a very, very nice resort hotel in Eaglesmere. Ask them if they know it. I think they still have hotels there. And 2 of my girlfriends and I, after we got out of high school, we decided to go up there and work as waitresses. because they had room and board for you, and you made your tips, but not that much else. So that was really interesting.
My first real job got paid for other than digging trenches in the town. We worked for the town. We get little jobs like in the summertime painting the street numbers and stuff in the streets. The guy who is in charge would get us to do that. Then we'd sometimes dig work with one of the plumbers, and then we were digging down, helping repair pipes and stuff like that. But the first real job was right to left high school, and I got a job at the Philadelphia Naval Base, Navy Yard, and I worked with a punch press. Good money, and the war was tailing down, so they weren't really doing what this thing would do. I was running a punch press, would get these sheets of metal, you could punch a hole with them, to fit in things.
What were the
We
holes?
spent most of our we making ashtrays.
We still have a
Stainless
couple
steel
ashtrays.
ashtrays for the ships and stuff. And
And he made a bracelet,
I had brought
too.
them home and stuff. But I was only 16. I got high school, I was 16. So the next year, I was 17, but all the veterans came back, and they were 18. You had to be 18 to get a job. So then it was a little tougher. We got scratchier jobs. And then after that, I went to Campbell. I worked at DuPont. And these are all summer jobs. Went at DuPont, and I think it's in my little book there. And I worked basically labor, unload trucks and big drums and good heavy stuff. It was not bad. It's a good job. And the biggest thing was DuPont was making dynamite at the time. We had to drive through these old sheds where they're making dynamite and drop supplies off. And about once a year, one of these places would go up, and there'd be no more sign of it. The whole thing. So I'd go to your face saying, "Oh my God, let's get out of here as soon as we can." And then after I worked at DuPont a couple of years, they weren't hiring after about 3 or 4 years, so I got a job at Campbell Soup. And a friend of my father's, I got my first, he got me a job, it was a nice job. Eventually it was a nice, horrible job. First you had to pick up 13 hot cans with your hands. I had heavy gloves here, and I got sure stubby fingers. And these things are rolling up my arms, and the machine's back on it, boom, 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 pumping them out. You take them and put them in a tray. So he got me a job. Eventually, after a couple of weeks of that horror, he got me a job down. At that time, Campbell Soup had a river plant. It's not there anymore. And with tomato season, all of South Jersey would bring a lot of tomatoes. They'd bring them in. They make all their tomato stuff for Campbell Soup. And I worked the first year with and that guy, I could transfer. I sat way up top of the roof running a valve. And there's engineers. I was working for these engineers, and we didn't do anything all day. I just sit up there and sit up there. Then at 4 o'clock they come out and say, "Okay, Dick, we're going to start running." Well, it was overtime. So I just open the valve and I go. Job.
That's just opening and closing the valve.
Huh?
Opening and closing the valve. That was
That's
it.
all it was. There's a couple of valves you turn and open and close, and I guess the tomato juice going through them or something. I don't know. And the next year, they got me a job. I worked. You ever hear of V8 juice?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Campbell Soup had just bought the contract on V8. It was some other company had it, and now we're going and fixing up to make it. Figure the formula should be and all. So I had worked on a plant a little further up, another plant, same thing, which I would have a vat with 500 gallons of tomato juice would come in, and then you had to mix certain little things they give you because they get smashed celery, all the stuff, all the vegetables, and it had some college kid. I was a college kid, but he was a college kid. And the boss's son, I have all this stuff and I mix it and you say, it's no good. Out, open the valve, out in the Delaware River.
500 gallons?
Everything gets shot out the edge, just out it goes.
Why wouldn't they try it
Try
in like a
smaller
cup first instead of a 500 gallon vat? Just try the cup.
I can't tell
and
you,
then just
I only know this, that's my job.
Okay, hold
you have to
on.
restart. Like have this. They put tomato juice, celery,
Yeah.
carrots,
Yeah.
and then try the new
All the
ingredient.
stuff they put in this big vat, you know, I had a motor, I heated it, I think I cooked it, and I run it, all that stuff, and I, as a kid,
The
I
tune, the Delaware River.
fed the fish, or
That's
killed,
right.
killed them probably.
I bet they like tomato soup, or they're just turned into salmon,
Yeah.
turned red
They
salmon
still
fish.
sell V8 juice. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
Dick doesn't like it.
I like it. It's good.
Man, does it taste the same? Did you get to drink
You
a lot
like
of
it? I was the originator of it. If you like it.
It's amazing.
I don't know if I ever
man.
got this stuff right, because this guy, every time he dump it. I can't, what is this guy doing? I can't believe it.
Do you guys mind if we talk about your marriage for a little bit and talk about
Oh my God.
romantic stuff?
How many years have you been married? 63?
Wow.
52, we got 52,
52 from.
so you figured out what it is.
That's
50,
50
six-
plus
60
14,
60 some
64.
years.
64. Yeah, 64. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Things have gotten tougher, and then tougher as years go by.
I know, we argue more.
Actually, the first, we had a baby the first year or so we were married. And the plan was not to have a baby then, but I had a wife who was afraid of getting endometriosis.
Oh, no.
Did you ever hear of that? Look it up in the book. It's a disease that females get in their ovaries and stuff, and it gives them pain, but also gives them infertility. So she's worried about that. So then we have to have a baby. So we start having these kids, and we had 4 kids. And but most of the first part of our marriage, I was in my internship and residency, and where I was spending every day at the hospital, every other night at the hospital. So I'd go home 6 o'clock at night, you know, staggering around, and she's got these kids to take care of, and she just loved me for that. Oh, please, I can't take any more of these because and 4 boys can be pretty restless.
I can imagine.
What was it like being the only girl in the family?
Oh, outnumbered. I'm still outnumbered. I always agree with her father.
Oh.
They do, really. They do.
I never argue with you, Betty.
So,
What do you guys argue about these days?
oh, little things more than big things, I think.
I'm trying to think.
Like, came down this morning with the chairlift and let both chairs to the bottom, which means that I have to use the remote and bring them up. So I said, why don't you send the chairs back up so I can come down? And he says, oh, you are.
Oh shit, we have two little.
Yeah, but the other day you
Let me finish.
I don't want to finish mine.
Thank you.
The other day you were yelling at me because I didn't turn the upstairs thing around so you didn't have
Never
to
do,
walk
right.
past it. I do every night now.
Now you do.
No.
But
Little things, they're big
the
things.
chairs were set. Oh, we have 2 little handles. One says lower, one says upper,
Remote.
and the remotes, and you can pull them up, or pull them down as you want. Well, all she had to do was push the button and bring them up.
I did that, but it takes me 15 minutes to do that because I have to maneuver around. You don't realize everything I do, you can still walk pretty good. I can't. Everything I do, I have to maneuver my walker around to do it.
Betty,
You should just.
you can do everything.
And he has this phobia about weeds this year. Every spare minute he's out there pulling weeds.
Well, that's this past couple of weeks. So that's not usual. This has been a bad year.
Oh, yeah.
I hurt my ribs.
And then he fell and bruised his ribs so badly, he's just now able to lay on his left side. And I keep telling him, you don't have to pull those weeds. Nobody We don't care if we have weeds. Everybody's got weeds.
We can pull some weeds.
I was gonna
before we
say,
leave.
before
You
we
can pull
leave,
weeds?
we'll
Yeah,
pull some
before we
weeds for
leave,
you
yeah.
guys. That'd be
I
great.
got
Yeah.
That'd be great. I'd love
see
that.
those piles out
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
They're weeds.
We'll pull some weeds before we leave.
We're
Lot
gonna
more.
we're gonna get a lawn service.
Now, the reason
Yeah.
I'm doing it, actually, basically, I'm gonna get a guy, I used to do it all alone myself. Past couple of years, Kyle and Bailey have been cutting the grass. And they do it, but I have to get after them, and they don't tell me what's happening. They just cut the grass, and out they go, get their money, and they're gone. And this year, the weeds just took over this yard really terribly. So now I'm gonna have a guy come in, he's gonna tromp up the yard, seed it, and cut it every week, go themselves. But the yards and areas are just solid sheets. These weeds are just solid sheets. And I can't see how anybody gonna get seed in there. So I'm trying to get that cleaned up a little bit.
Right.
Something to do.
Yeah. Yard work is good.
He's a pretty good husband, I'll say that. Very
What's-
good.
What's the most romantic thing he's ever done for you?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Ever
Well, let me
anything?
think. I have to think about this.
This is a tough one.
It could be little things too.
Yeah.
Give us a hint. Come on, Betty. You might be something.
I don't think very fast these days, Dick.
Nobody's on the spot.
Well,
Yeah.
I make big birthday cards for her, hanging from
Yeah.
the ceiling when she has her
One time
birthdays.
before we got married, he took me for a ride out in like South Jersey somewhere, and we stopped, and there was some, I guess they were dried flower things on the roadside, and I said, oh, stop and get me some of those, because I was making a dried flower arrangement for a neurology ward, and you stopped and said, okay, you can do
Is that the most romantic thing I've ever
Well,
done?
that was, you said you were it was very thoughtful.
It's a romantic thing. Any romantic thing he's done.
Yeah.
Gotchel's a very romantic people.
Yeah.
Surprised we're not Italians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. That's nice. That's a good answer. That's good. And so you stopped the car, you got out, and you got the dried flowers. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Especially, Gotchels are also very task oriented. So when my dad is driving somewhere, he's driving from point A to point B, and there's no point in between.
I am too.
So to stop somewhere in between is like off mission, and it's not good to do. So
That's when the
He's
kids
been
were little,
trained.
we would be on a pretty long road trip, and everybody's hungry. We passed by a McDonald's or something. Oh, we're already past these.
We're already past.
He didn't like to stop.
What about a romantic thing that Betty has done for you?
The what?
A romantic thing that Betty has done for you.
Romantic thing that I've done
I know. I gotta think.
for you. No, I had to think too.
She married me.
Oh, that's nice.
that's sweet.
And that's an experience too, because I met her as a medical student, and she was head nurse of neurology. And I thought she's cute and all that stuff. But I didn't date her for my second year in med school. I took her to a dance, and went to jitterbug, and when I gave her the fling, she went right across the floor in her rear end. Went right
Yeah,
on
he was
up,
very.
and then up she hopped and condensed it back. And I said, that girl's got something on the ball. That was my romantic thing.
Yeah.
That says a lot. And you said in your memoirs, you said that you proposed sort of. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
Well, yeah, I don't think you ever really. You just said, "How about if we get married in December?" You did. You said
I know.
you had some time off from school, and you had a weekend. We got married on a Saturday.
Back to school Monday.
He went back to school Monday, and I went back to work Monday.
So there was no down on your knee with the ring in your
No,
hand.
No,
She
absolutely
had
not.
her own ring From her, was it from her mother? Your mother's ring? Whose ring is
Is
that?
that your ring?
No, you bought this for me about 20 years ago.
But
Because
that
I
was
never
not-
had an engagement ring.
No,
He
not
gave me his
engagement.
fraternity pin.
Hey, like that?
I guess
That's
I still have it.
romantic. It's like, you know, your dad proposed to your mom over the payphone.
That's right.
So, you know, yeah.
He said, I mean, you know, we've been dating for a while, and it just seems like the next logical step is to get married.
Yeah.
This is a weird family.
It's
Oh,
true.
It's lasted, that's all I can say.
That's wonderful.
What is like a happy recent memory you guys have had together?
A recent one?
Yeah. Just like a nice moment you guys have shared or,
Yeah.
you know, recently.
It's all been very nice. What else can I say?
Oh. Exciting. Yeah.
We're getting older and we're very dependent on each other.
Yeah.
And as the days go by, you're happy to get up in the morning. So,
Has that made you guys grow closer together as you grow more dependent on each other? You guys.
I think so. Well, there's nobody else here.
Mhm.
There's a big house, and we got except the Germans. This summer the Germans here most of the summer. They're staggered around. In fact,
Sonia's coming on
Sonia's
Monday.
coming Monday.
Great.
The
Yeah.
youngest daughter's coming Monday, but
Did you
we
ever
had
meet
one came
Sonia?
before that.
Uh-uh.
A family came before that, and one before that. So they've been our company off and on like this summer most of the time. We used to go to the shore. We don't anymore because we can't walk that well. A nice little house.
What was it like at the shore house back when you guys got it? Were you like very proud that you were able to get the shore house?
That was the fastest money we ever spent. We just
You know what
decided we wanted to
what a house cost?
What?
$16,000.
We wanted to maybe buy a house at the shore, so we went down and looked at different ones that are advertised, and this one was a sample house. And we went in, we looked at it, and the guy talked to us about it and said it was the last one for sale on that side of West Avenue, which is better because you don't have to cross a busy street to get to the beach. And so we went back, sat in the car, and Dick said, "Well, do you want to buy it?" So I said, "Sure." So we did. We never made up our mind about anything so quick.
You know what that's worth now?
What?
That house.
Over $1 million?
No, no, no,
Probably
no.
about 400,000.
Over $1 billion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
We were in debate what to do with that house, about giving it to our kids or selling it or what, making the money, making the big bucks. But it's a nice house, and I hate to see it wasted. I mean, the problem is that it's not, as the weather's getting worse, it's getting, like a couple of years ago, that flood, we had a lot of flooding in the back, we had to get repaired.
with 4 kids, it's hard to figure out how to bequeath it. You know, it's a big item to give just to one person. That's too much. We can't do that. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
Actually, your family's probably the ones who use it the most.
We're closest,
And
maybe.
Brian goes down for a day here and there, and since he's not got a wife anymore, he goes down. Once in a while, the kids, they go down for the day or so and come back. And you can get a room down there. I mean, you can rent a place for a weekend or something for that. But it's a nice little place, and I think maybe I'll keep it.
A lot of memories.
Rich goes down and cuts the grass, takes care of it all the time.
Yeah.
Never uses it.
He's such a servant heart.
Gary's in Germany all year. He comes over in the summer and goes down a week or so. I mean, seems like we rented it early on. We had it, but then we had some problem. The hot water heater broke, and the poor lady was renting a place. Almost got flooded out. So the renting is too much of a bother. You know, you can get good money out of it. You can get a couple of that. You get 1,000, 2,000 a week out of that. But in fact, I'm going to talk her down there this fall sometime. We usually go down in the fall and make sure the house is closed up and everything. But this year, your mother may mess that up.
Why?
Because she wants to keep it
Well,
open for the winter, right?
Well, she's saying that maybe she'll go down there
When Annie has a
when
baby.
Annie has her baby.
Oh.
And then, so it's only about a 30-minute drive back and forth to where they live. But, you know, I know, this sort of just popped me the other day, I heard this one. But usually I close it up and get drain the water and all those stuff so you don't get frozen out. Oh.
Right, right. This must be a really, it's interesting that people live there all year, but it's such a
Yeah.
different town in like the winter time.
Oh yeah, people that live there in the winter love it. They say there's plenty to do. There's all kind of clubs you can join, trips they
That
can buy
section,
for you.
there's not too many people that live there all year.
Where
Mostly,
the
they're
house
mostly
is.
rentals.
Yeah.
And there's one guy across the street that has a nursery down on the road coming in, and he's been there for years. But he lives there all year round. But there aren't many. Like we go down in winter once in a while. My God, it's like a ghost town. You go in there, there's nobody anywhere around. It's just, of course, our south end, everything's closed in the winter too, so nothing's functioning.
Yeah.
How's Evan? I hear Evan's doing well.
Oh, yeah.
He likes it down there.
He does like it there. He's
good.
yeah, he's getting involved, and he's got 8 o'clock classes every day of the week.
Really?
8 a.m.
Oh,
every
my
day.
goodness.
So he's up early all the time, which is good. It means he's not up partying every night.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
he really likes it. He's got a lot of good friends already,
Okay.
and we're gonna visit for like parents and family weekend
Yeah.
in a couple weeks
Yeah,
in
that's what
October.
your mom said, in case they don't get back from their
Yep.
California thing.
Yep.
in time.
So we're looking forward to that. And I mean, we're only
Okay.
about an hour away, or like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I can swing by and grab coffee with him
People
every
think
so often.
You're his very young parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trick people and say that we had him when we were 15.
Yeah.
Can you guys remember like best and worst dates you went on? Like if like you had a really bad date one time together, or if you had a really great date, really romantic date.
Well, I think
Any
one
experiences?
Time before we got married, I got mad at you and we were in the car and I got out of the car
Where was that?
in West Philadelphia at one time.
Oh,
I didn't forget what it was about. Yeah, I don't remember that.
very impatient soul. I don't know.
Uh,
I can't tell that.
you used to remember that because we talked.
I don't
about it.
remember that.
I know you don't. That's
I
the thing, when
remember-
you get older, you forget a lot of stuff.
Trips I remember, like I may have written that book when we went to a dance or something somewhere, and I come up to her apartment and didn't leave till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I had an old Pontiac, 39 Pontiac or something, wasn't even 38 Pontiac, old battered car, and I come out and it's in West Philly, dark. My car's not there.
Oh yeah, I remember
There's
that.
nothing there. And I thought, oh God, I must be half drunk or something. So I walked around the blocks there, trying to figure out where my car was. No dice. And the next day I was going to school, and the guys told me my car is over in front of the fraternity house. Somebody got into my car and driven it to a fraternity house.
And just left it there?
I have no idea.
Did you leave your keys in the ignition?
No. I don't know what they.
I guess there's a way to start cars even if you don't have
Oh,
the
yeah.
key. I don't know how to do it.
Do you guys have any wisdom about marriage advice to impart for the ages?
Be nice to each other.
That's a tough
Don't
one.
forget, don't worry if you have a fight. You can always make up.
Those are good.
Just as long as the wife listens to the husband, things go well.
Great God.
And the other way around.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
The other way around too.
How about parenting advice with your kids that you raised?
Oh, we made lots of mistakes, I guess.
They seem to turn out well, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you tend to experiment on your first one because you don't know what to expect when you're a parent. Learn as you go.
Did you guys have people you talked to about parenting when you were parents, young parents?
No. Mm-mm.
Just followed your
We
intuition?
never went to a baby doctor because he was always our doctor. You know.
Right. Yeah. Did you read books on parenting? You
Dr.
just
Spock, he was the big authority in those
Yeah, we
days.
can't believe all that stuff.
You ever read Dr. Spock's books?
Mm-mm.
I guess he's still,
Where you been?
he's still in print. Well, she's not a mother.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, just read it, just marry him about, I think he's dead for years
Oh,
probably.
he has, of course,
Let's
but
see
his,
about
his book lives on.
What's this whispering on?
okay. I asked my parents if they had any questions for you, and my dad said one question. He had one question. He said, "Ask Greg Dick what you can tell me about Poopy Head Lux."
Oh, that was in his book, isn't it?
Whoopi had lived in the Colonial Manor where I was born. Was on our street, Puritan Avenue, there's about 8 houses. The one down the end belonged to, I forget his first name now. We call him Poopy Head Lux. And I had a little, when we had a little, we were a small kid, not small, but maybe small, before teens, maybe 8, 9 years old, something like that. So we built a wigwam on his back porch, on his backyard, with the rugs. They had rugs out to get dry or something. So we put the poles up and wrapped the old blankets around and went inside, had a wigwam fire. And the wigwam fire caught on the rugs and burned the rugs. And I was not allowed to play with Booby Head for another couple weeks.
So you started a fire and like.
We were inside like Indians.
Yeah, yeah.
We were gonna put a little
I bet
piece
that
of
was
paper and, light them right there. I sat there, oh! We had a lot of adventures of small, I tell you.
I bet that's not the same episode your Mark was thinking about.
How did he get the name Poopy Head?
I don't know. We had nicknames for everybody. Everybody had a nickname, it seemed.
That's a rough nickname. Poopy. It's a rough nickname. To have.
Yeah, we'd hate to have that one. You'd hate to have that.
I think his name was Joe. Joey Lux.
What? Oh, Joey Lux is his last name.
What story
Yeah.
do you think Mark is talking about?
What? Well, I don't know if it was Poopy Head, but one that was,
This,
went down the tube with the guy below.
oh. That was him.
That wasn't him?
We had
Okay. Wrong
we
one.
built had a fort in our side yard where the bottom was sort of empty and the top was like a room. And then you had a little trap door you climb up into, and then you had a little talking thing that goes down to the bottom. You could talk to people. So I was up there one time with one of the older kids from the end of the street, and this guy who's actually became a cop. His name was Vincey Walls. Was there, and he was sort of a noisy kid. And he came up, and we had the door locked. He couldn't get in. So he sits down at the bottom. He's singing into the tube. Now, what do you think would happen?
Oh.
You're responsible.
Why don't you tell us?
Huh?
Why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, the older guy sort of had to go to the bathroom.
Down the
I'll
tube.
tell you, we had a busy childhood. And blah, 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 blah. Curses.
I don't know if that's the one your dad was thinking about or not.